Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay guys, so as you can see, we are in a different setting. We have a different background. I kind of missed my white background, I'm not gonna lie. Let me know what you guys think about it down below in the comments. Also, I did go to Philly last weekend. It has felt like a long week because of the swelling and recovery that I've been going through with my nose. It's annoying, I'm not going to lie. My nose is super swollen. You know, as some of you know, I went to go and get a bump shaved down on my nose and the bump looks bigger than ever, but I know it's just the swelling, so that's the most annoying part about all of it. Let me know if you guys like the white background. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into today's story time. Okay, I'm going to bring you guys up close. There we go. Okay, so quick little rundown before we get into today's story time. For most of the video, I will be looking in this direction because my mirror's over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. These story times are sent in by anonymous people, and I do tell these story times in a first-person point of view, so if you don't like that, then you can exit out of the video. Okay, so a little background information. I was 15 and a freshman in high school, and this story starts about right after my winter break. I went to a Catholic school that was pretty much known for its sports rather than academics. Which, to be honest, I don't know why my parents put me in this school, because they put both of my brothers in there and they came out and didn't go to college. And they're still living with my parents at 30 years old. That being said, the whole school part was really easy. You had to be extremely stupid to fail. Literally. But hey, I guess that's what you get for paying $40,000 a year for an excellent education. Anyways, with that being said, everyone had to play a sport. Literally everybody. I mean, I guess it was good that they had pretty much every sport that you could think of, but for the girls, the easiest one was cheer, which was a surprise, but anybody who was garbage, they pretty much just put in the back. And I was terrible at all things sports, so I got put in the back. And there were cliques on this cheerleading squad, which by the way had 45 girls on it because it was so easy, and almost all of them had their own clique except for like 7 of us, including me. The rest of them were in little groups between like 3 and 5 girls, I would say, and none of these girls would really communicate outside the little groups. Anyways, these girls would not communicate outside of these little cliques that they had. But besides that, there was one group of girls. There were 6 girls, 1 junior, 5 seniors, who basically ran this cheer squad, okay? And they were assholes. Literally assholes. Like, I remember the first day that I started, I went up to them and asked them a question about like the uniform or whatever, because you had to wear certain uniforms whenever you would practice. And I went up and I asked the one, because obviously they're in charge, so I figured they were the people to ask. And she's like, "Why the fuck are you talking to me?" And I'm like, what? So I thought that she was joking, and I was like, ha ha ha. Anyways, she was like, "No, why the fuck are you talking to me?" Yeah, somebody needed to humble her. Like, please. Yeah, she was a raging bitch. I didn't get to ask her the question. She told me to go ask somebody else and not to talk to her again. Well, a little while after that, I had found out something that I wasn't really supposed to know about the clique that ran everything, okay? One day while I was visiting my stepdad's house, I heard his son, who also happens to go to my school. His son was 3 years older than me, by the way, so he was a senior, talking to Sarah on the phone. Sarah was a part of the mean girl clique on the cheer squad. So because I was kind of a loser and had nothing better to do with my time, I decided to eavesdrop in on their conversation. I know, I'm a weirdo. Leave me alone. And when I heard what they were talking about, I literally almost passed out because I was shook, okay? She was breaking down prices for sexual acts. What the fuck? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, I have my phone right there. I'm pressing like the voice memo record thing, you know, I'm like holding it near the door, you know, and his room was all the way on the top floor, which was the 3rd floor, so he wasn't really worried about anybody going near his door, so he wasn't afraid to talk super loud about everything, you know. Anyways, like I said, they were breaking down the prices of sexual favors and what her and the other 5 group of girls in that clique were charging for different things. Now, I was super confused, but my dad had came to pick me up, so I had to hurry up and run downstairs. But after this, I decided that I needed to do a little bit of digging to find out what the fuck was going on. Literally. Because I'm out here and I'm like, I am on a cheerleading squad with a group of prostitutes. Oh my god, what the fuck? Anyways. It's like shit that you hear about in movies, literally. So I never really visited my mom a lot because, to be honest, I hated my stepdads and I also hated his kids because his kids were entitled little assholes, right? And the one tried to fuck me. Yeah, they were gross, okay? So then I decide that I am going to start visiting her a little bit more often. So eventually, a week later, I make it over to my stepdad's house. And by the way, the only reason why I went to this school in the first place was because my stepdad wanted me to go there. My dad was not wealthy enough to send me to that school at all. To be honest, I wish I just would have stayed at my other school. Anyways, back to the story. So I had stayed at my stepdad's house the one night, and when I woke up in the morning, I told my mom I wasn't feeling well, so she let me stay home from school that day. And all of my stepdad's kids had went to school, and we're gonna call this stepbrother James, okay? I went up to James's room, and for school, usually you would take your phone and your computer. Well, I sort of thought I was fucked because I started going through his old phones and I couldn't find anything, right? So I'm looking around a little bit more when all of a sudden my mom barges in the room and I'm like, fuck. So she's like, what are you doing in here? And I'm like, oh, James told me that I could use his iPad because mine isn't working and I need to get onto an assignment. Turns out she had his iPad, so she gave it to me and I was like, oh, like what's the password? Because I'm like, fuck. She told me the password, I got on there, and I hit the jackpot. Literally. I went into all of his messages with Sarah and a few of the other girls. So as I'm going through this iPad, which has loads of secrets in it, I'm taking pictures with my phone, you know, like recording also because people will be like, oh, like you can edit that screenshot, like what the fuck? So yeah, bitch, I took a video too. Pretty much what I got from the conversations and everything like that is that this group of girls does stuff with the guys from, you know, that go to the school for money. Because even though sometimes you go to a rich school, you can't always get girls. That's what I'm getting from half of the guys that I'm seeing that they slept with. And the senior guys, they were actually like, okay, anyways, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on here. Probably not. But pretty much, they would go and they would tell the girls who wants to do what with them. And if they help the girls find somebody, then they got a percentage of the cut. And I guess the good thing about also going to a school where everybody's wealthy is that you have between $300 to $700 to pay for this shit. Cause yes, that is literally what they were charging for some shit. So now I'm sitting there and I'm like, what do I do with this information? Because it is illegal, but I don't think it's illegal. It's definitely illegal. Anyways, the only reason why I say I don't think it's illegal is because it's with kids their age. So yeah. Anyways, okay. So pretty much I wanted in on this. I wanted to make money, but I also did not want to fuck random people. So what did I do? I grabbed all of my receipts that I stole and I pretty much confront these girls. I walk up to them and the one bitch that was rude to me last time was like, what the fuck do you want? So then I was able to come back and say, oh, I don't think you want to be talking to me like that. And she's like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Da 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 da, like a bunch of shit. And then I literally just held up my phone with a screenshot of their menu. And oh my god, she shut the fuck up. She She looked like somebody just shit in her cereal. And that's when I knew that I had the upper hand in the situation. So she goes over, she gets the rest of the girls that are in her clique, and she's like, oh my god, like she knows about what we're doing, this, that, and the next. And I'm just still standing there with holding up the phone like la 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 la. 4 of them start crying, and then the other one, Sarah, she sounded like she was gonna cry, but she didn't want to cry. She was like, are you gonna call the police? I was like, no, but I have a different idea instead. So my idea was for them to pay me $1,000 a week to keep hush. You know what I found out about what they were doing though? It wasn't even the fact that they needed money, right? It was just the fact that, I don't know, they just liked doing that because their families were way wealthier than anybody else's really in the school. So anyways, like I said, I would pretty much get $1,000 a week to keep my mouth shut. Okay everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of me, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to send in your anonymous story time, make sure to click the link in the description. I do post every Saturdays, but I'm going to be trying to post 1 more day a week. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I'll let you guys know in the next story time. Love you guys.